This video is brought to you by
Cool Green Clothing. We done gone worldwide and we coming straight out of Baltimore. And if you're in town, pull up on us at 215 West Saratoga Street. And if you're not in town, go online right now at coolgreenclothing.com and make your purchase. Oh yeah, and by the way, if you ain't cool and getting the green, you're in the way. And that's just basic.
What's going on, YouTube, fam? It's your boy Tony 2 times, and we back with another episode of the Baltimore Way, man. Before I start, be sure to tap that like button. It's free. It helps get the video out there. Definitely watch this video to the end to hear the full story and all the details in the case. For my day one fam, y'all already know it's all love. Thanks for tuning back into another episode. If you're new to the channel and you feeling the content, feel free to subscribe. Definitely hit that notification bell so you can be notified every time we drop a new video. Oh yeah, feel free to share the channel with your peoples. Everybody is welcome. With that being said, let's get right into the story. In this world we live in, people struggle every day. They get by financially. You have individuals that have full-time jobs that still have to find side hustles and things to do on their downtime, like delivering for Uber Eats or DoorDash just to make ends meet. I know firsthand how exhausting it can be to feel like you are working day and night, pushing your body to the limit, barely seeing your family, and still barely surviving. So some people look for an out, some kind of relief, and a way to make some fast money. One sad but true fact about America, people are always looking for a way to escape reality, forget about their problems, or numb their pain. For some, it's hitting the bar after work, getting a few drinks, getting gone off the liquor. For others, they might be more into harder things. So if you want to step off that sidewalk into them streets, it's always an opening and opportunity. When most people jump into the game, they are one-track minded. The only thing they think about is the money. But even if you tiptoe in the streets, maybe sell a little bit of grass from time to time as a side hustle, it's a lot that comes with that. In the ideal world, you would tell somebody you got a product, they would ask a price, and if they want it, they will cop from you. But in real life, every day, people are scamming, plotting, looking for a come up. And the streets have no picks. And unfortunately, if you run into the wrong person, a side hustle could turn fatal. And on this episode of the Baltimore Way, we'll be discussing the case of a plan to hit a quick lick that backfired in the streets of Baltimore. Back in 2021, 26-year-old Brian Palmer was navigating life in Baltimore. The young man, like many of us when we were that age, was just trying to figure it out and make his next move his best move. Described as a good dude, laid back, funny, and down to earth. Brian didn't mind working hard for what he needed, but on the side, he decided he would sell a little bit of grass for his extras and the things he wanted. It was supposed to be just to make some quick money. With Baltimore being a small city, usually word travels quick, who got what and who is in the mix. And somewhere down the line, he met a 20-year-old man named Raekwon Griffin. Raekwon was described as a decent young man who never been in any serious trouble, no felonies, and he was just trying to shake and bake in the Baltimore streets. According to sources, Raekwon and Brian had met before to do a deal and things went smooth. So when the young man texted Brian on a hot summer day of August 5th, 2021, it wasn't nothing out the ordinary. He asked him, like, bro, you out moving? I'm trying to get right. Brian stated, yeah, bro, where you at? Raekwon sent him an address to pull up on a 4300 block of Flowerton Road in Southwest Baltimore. Brian said, all right, bet. He felt comfortable making a move. Plus, he had his cousin with him, 33-year-old Darren Stewart, nicknamed Muggs by family and friends. Raekwon told Brian, like, text me when you get close, yo. And he did. When Brian pulled up to the block, Raekwon was with another man, though. And they walked up to the car. Right off muscle, the situation seemed shaky, and it seemed like a move was about to be pulled. After a few words, shots went off, and a car fled the scene. Witnesses on the block called BPD, who responded to the location to find both cousins, Brian and Darren, suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. They were both rushed to a local hospital, but unfortunately, they wouldn't survive their injuries. Back on the scene, witnesses told police a name. Some stated they think the men were coming to the block to meet Raekwon, and him and another man robbed them, then shot him. Then they told police they fled in a getaway car. Police got access to Raekwon's phone records with a warrant, and it showed he turned his phone off just 30 minutes after the homicides, but his location still pinged in the area at the time of the shooting. Other evidence was text messages sent to Brian about buying some grass, but before Brian pulled up, Raekwon texted another man stating he was about to cop something, and his homie texted back like, "From who? Let me rob him." He told him it's a go. Police were able to identify the phone number and the other man as 22-year-old Monte Schuler. Eventually, both men were picked up. They denied the whole incident or robbing the cousins. Detectives ran their fingerprints, and allegedly they both were a hit for the fingerprints found on Brian's car. A few days later, an abandoned car was found in that area and was pointed to by witnesses as the getaway car. Inside was a registered firearm that belonged to Brian and Raekwon's cell phone he had disconnected. With that, both men were charged with 2 counts of premeditated first-degree hit, armed robbery, and weapon violations. As the case started making its way to trial, it was pointed to as a drug deal gone wrong. Raekwon really didn't have a fight. His lawyers argued he was a good kid who never got in any trouble. His mother and family pleaded with the judge to be lenient. As the jury heard the evidence, his trial was open and shut though. With the cell phone and text messages, that sealed the young man's fate. The premeditated hit charge was dropped to first-degree felony hit, armed robbery, and 2 counts of use of a firearm and commission of a violent crime. The judge did acknowledge the fact Raekwon had kept his nose clean all the way into the case. They still stated it was a calculated and cold situation, and he was found guilty on all charges. The young man was sentenced to life plus 25 years in prison, with the first 10 to serve without parole. The victims' families spoke out, stating they were still jealous that his family could still see him and visit him, but their loved ones were gone forever. The judge told Raekwon, "Don't let the sentence break him. If he follows certain programs and stay out of trouble, they might bring him back in a couple years for a sentence deduction review." But Monte's trial was tricky. With no real evidence against the man, the state had to prove he was involved in a robbery. Prosecutors went to jail calls. They alleged Monte told an associate on a call one of the cousins reached, not knowing him and Raekwon both had guns, so they popped him. But he was talking in code, so the call really didn't stick. The jury at first couldn't reach a verdict, leading to his first trial ending in a hung jury and a mistrial. But at his second trial, the jury felt it was enough evidence to find Monte guilty on 2 counts of voluntary manslaughter, use of a firearm, and commission of a violent crime and armed robbery. Before sentencing, he apologized to the victims' families and stated it wasn't supposed to go down like that. And he stated he wished he would have just went straight home that day. In the end, Monte was sentenced to 10 years for each count of manslaughter to run consecutive, with another 20 years to run wild on 2 separate counts of firearm use and commission of a felony or violent crime, with another 10 years for armed robbery to also run wild. In total, that was 70 years in prison, with the first 10 to serve without no parole. Rest in peace to Brian and Darren. I send my prayers and condolences to their families. Unfortunately, in a lot of cases, trying to get that fast money ends in situations like this. Brian probably felt It was just another day, another dollar, not knowing it was a whole play set up against him. Sadly, prosecutors stated his cousin Darren was collateral damage just because he was there and he had to go. It was speculated Brian peeped the move and tried to up his gun, but they already had the drop on them. At the end of the day, 4 families forever changed. 2 cousins gone forever and 2 men sitting in prison for decades over some grass and probably some petty money. But I'm going to leave this one open for discussion. Y'all let me know what y'all think about the situation. Leave it in the comments. Yeah, man, crazy story. Rest in peace, them 2 men. I definitely send my prayers to their families. But I ain't going to talk too much more about this one. Y'all leave it in the comments. Definitely tap that like button if you're feeling the content. I appreciate you if you made it to the end. This another episode of the Baltimore Way. It's your boy Tony 2 times. Love, fam. I'm out.